Righty.
What's your band?
I like Pearl Jam. Any classic rock. Led Zepp. Maybe get a little bit new with kids. Hey, good Monday afternoon, everybody. We're on, Coach. Welcome to 757 Lacrosse Hour. Mark Hargrave here with my partner, Scott Holava. Scotty, what's going on? How you doing, brother?
Good afternoon, everyone. I just got some of your favorite logos on today.
All right.
Everyone.
I'm going
off my nice new shades as well.
I'm just going dark. and there's a reason for me to go dark. We're going to start off today with a little TCIS action, and I'm just going to say this, Scott. I'm a bad dad. I'm a bad podcaster. I should be fired from the program. Put me up under the fence and throw paint at me. I was told for the last month and a half that the TCIS championship game was going to be on Friday, May 10th, okay? Not Thursday, May 9th. My own fault. As I've explained to some of you folks out there who are listening, I'm a self-employed medical device contractor. I had the biggest dinner opportunity of my life up in Richmond at VCU. They told me it's either going to be May 9th or like August 12th. I said, I'll take May 9th, thinking that the TCIS championship game was going to be on Friday, May 10th.
Coach, it's very troubling. First of all, your poor scheduling is concerning to me. There's no negative self-talk.
I'm sorry. Look,
negative self-talk here.
I watched the game back a couple times, folks. I did. I watched it back, but we had my partner here live to talk about an epic championship game, which we talked about is what we need. Let's back up, though, for just a second and talk about what Hargrave got right and what Hargrave got wrong. I mentioned last week, the last couple of weeks, whoever had to face that NSA team in that 2-3 game, that was going to be a barn burner. And folks, wasn't ever. What a wonderful semifinal game. Coach TW and those boys, again, they showed up in spades and they were fantastic. I mean, that was a great game, literally right down to the end. Last second goal, great ride by Dax Kimmerer. Hargrave picks the ball up, puts it in the goal for a 14-13 win. But what a great job by those guys. And then a championship game, which will be remembered for a long time. That's what Hargrave got wrong. Look, my own opinion watching that first game was that NA just completely outmatched Catholic athletically. Not skill-wise. They both have a lot of skilled players. Yeah, they were just deep, and they ran away with it a little bit. But great job by Coach Lewis and those guys. What an unbelievable effort and adjustment they made to make that anybody's ball game there, and I'll let you speak to it a little bit.
Yeah, I got to say it was pretty fun. First of all, really good game by both teams. It was enjoyable to watch a high level lacrosse. Although I found myself probably sitting in between the Catholic side and the NA side, probably
always 50,
fun. Bouncing back between friends on both teams, but. Really solid game, Coach. I was doing my best to give Coach Hargrave the texting updates, but I probably failed.
No. My wife was there too for me, so
yeah. But
make me feel really worse.
I mean, just back to back, and just kept hanging around. Both teams. Really, it was just fun to watch for the cross. To be honest.
And look, and good again. Congrats, NA and Luke Shinnefield made a big time play at the end there, a rocket shot. Noah Smith had some unbelievable saves. Again, a lot of kids stepping up for both sides, but he made a big play in the end, and that's what it's all about.
So these teams, I mean, had to they played each other 3 times.
3 times they played Saturday again,
or something like that. And no excuses. The schedule's a schedule, so you got to play.
Right.
I watched Catholic play Christ Church
at
the home field, and that Christ Church team is no joke as far as state tournament time comes. So
it's here, and they're going to go far. Yeah.
But some of these guys, I would give TD Reader a big shout out. Just watching, TD, love you, man. Always been a believer, but I really became a believer watching you against Christ Church, buddy.
Yeah, absolutely. We got a little technical issues going on. Can they not hear me?
3 goals in know, 90 seconds or something like that
Yeah.
against them. But again, that's a tough gauntlet to run.
It is.
Schedule like that. And again, you guys are blessed to have that kind of schedule.
Yeah, it's what makes you better. And TD's one of those kids that he puts the work in. He puts the effort in the off season. Again, every kid on every team. That's when it starts now. It starts in the off season, and certainly some folks are not in the off season yet, like Norfolk Academy, who will face a really great stab team tomorrow, who I think was the number 2 or 3 seed. So they have a state playoff game tomorrow. And our NSA boys are going to go after that D2 championship, which I believe that they're going to win in the next week or so here. I think that they are the clear favorite in Division II of VISA, and they should be. They've earned it. So we want those guys to win states. We need a local team doing great things. And good luck to NA tomorrow, too, against Stab. That's going to be a challenge. But as we learned Thursday night, anybody can beat anyone at any point. And we're also, obviously, we're bringing TCIS up first because we got to get to our public school matchup of the year here down
Coming
here.
up. Yeah, you know, did we talk about our all conference for
Oh, I will do all conference. Let me pull it up on my computer.
Let me,
here. Go.
I'd like to show a picture first, though. You know, again, if you get to start stuff when you're younger, yeah, it probably helps you out. You have longer to learn and play and do all that. But it doesn't really matter. You know, I didn't start till 9th grade, and I had a really, really fun college career. So it doesn't matter, but it sure doesn't hurt.
Right.
You know, so Coach is going to talk about some of these guys from this all conference, but I'm going to put this little picture up here from, you know, you can't tell from their little kid picture, but I mean, there's guys in this picture that, you know, have already played in college, or I'm sorry, are committed to play in college right here. This is all conference guys. It's little dudes from both of the NA, from Catholic, from public. Okay. Really, really good when they're little dudes. But all right, Coach, carry on.
Yeah. So all TCIS here. First team attack, Cooper Goss, who also won Player of the Year. He was so impressive. Another kid who has always been a good player, but really developed himself in the last 2 years to become Player of the Year. He deserves it. So first team, Cooper Goss at attack, Jacob Chandler from Catholic High School, another senior going to play, and Luke Shinnefield, who we talked about going to Denver, making big plays at the end of the game. First team midfield, Stanton Cutter from Norfolk Collegiate, a senior, Will Foley from Norfolk Academy, and Tommy Reeder from Catholic High School. Willie's a junior, and Tommy Reeder is a sophomore. Charlie Violet, long stick midfielder, first team from Norfolk Academy, well-deserved. We've talked about Lee Acra, short stick D-midi, Norfolk Academy. Jack Cheston, another kid who really impressed me.
Very nice game in the championship.
He did a great job against Chandler. They were back and forth. They had battles all year long.
Yeah, Charlie.
Violet, yeah.
Really, Charlie, nice job, buddy.
Yeah,
well done.
Nathan Che, face off Norfolk Academy. We've talked about Nathan.
Good job with the battle.
A guy we talked about a little bit, Noah Delk, watching him in that semifinal game. He can play, man. And a deceiving defender, really. A guy that you might look at and go, okay, I'm not sure if he's going to be able to catch up and move here. Kid was incredible. He's going to play at Hampton City. Well-deserved first team. Carter Jane, the 3rd year in a row at Catholic as a first team, all TCIS, very well deserved. And also Nutty Smith in goal, first team. Again, very well deserved, making incredible saves there.
Going to Merrimack.
Going to Merrimack, absolutely. Yeah. Second team, all TCIS. Ashton Chaplin, face off from Norfolk Collegiate, who's a senior. Will Escalera, Cape Henry in midfield. Nice job, Will.
Really, yep, and big bro, Rob.
Yep. Parker Green, midfield, Nansen Suffolk, senior. Owen Hargrave at attack for Catholic, a sophomore. Richard Hope, another kid who impressed me. Richard did a nice job, Norfolk Academy. Cole Hutchinson, short stick midfielder from Norfolk Christian. You want to get a little clap in here, I guess?
A little maybe.
All right, good job. Good job, senior.
Wink, wink.
Jack Jenkins, defense, Cape Henry. Another kid Jess talked about who I think really has not played that long. And what a great job by Jack to make second team. Sean LeBeff, very impressive player, freshman from Norfolk Christian at attack. Trey Lanier, who we've spoken about from Norfolk Christian, a sophomore. Grayson Nagy, another quiet kid we've talked about on defense, just makes good plays. Kean McGrath at midfield for Catholic, very athletic kid. Yeah, really great athletic midfielder. Jack Payne, another kid coming out of the woodwork who, 2 years ago, you would probably not expect Jack to be as successful as he was. He's got an absolute rocket. Bennett Parker.
Good size on Jack.
Bennett Parker, second team goalie, Nansen Suffolk, playing behind Max for 2 or 3 years. To be able to step in as a senior and make all conference, incredibly impressive. A couple more guys: Elliot Thompson, defense from Norfolk Collegiate, junior. Matty Total, face-off from Cape Henry, well-deserved, a freshman. And another guy, Nico Yates, long stick midfielder from Nansemond, Suffolk, who's going to play in Florida at Embry-Riddle. Great job, Nico. Awesome job this year for long stick midfield. And then we can't get away from, we talked about Cooper being player of the year, and then coach of the year, well-deserved, T.W. Johnson. So all those guys on that list deserved it a lot. There's a couple guys where it's okay for us to be controversial. It's our show. Howard Casterlow, Dax Kimmener, probably two guys I would have also put on there. Yes, I'm a bit of a homer. I coached both of them when they were little, but it doesn't matter. Anybody who watched them play would say those guys could also be on this list.
I watched Catherine a couple times. I thought Dax, especially championship game, I thought
he was great.
Yeah.
He was great in the semifinal, championship, and even on Saturday in that state game. So, you know what? Everybody can't make it. It's okay. It is what it is. And now, as promised, public school boys, we're turning to you. Let me also say, Scott and I had the pleasure. I think it's important for us to talk about this because it's one thing saying something and it's another thing actually going out and doing it. So we promised that we were going to give ourselves to these programs. And Scott and I went out last Monday to practice at Lansdowne, and we had a great time. I mean, those kids want to learn. They want to be great. I'm going to go out to Green Run today with Coach and Coach Carr and help those guys and bring some of the Catholic players out there to help us. It's all about giving back to the game. And our two guests today are two guys that do that a lot. And it's wonderful. But public school guys, this is the matchup here tomorrow, Scotty.
This is the one we've been waiting for. Okay. Again, maybe I don't need to put it on this week.
Look,
maybe Mark should put it on, but
it won't fit on me.
I still, again, I've been watching these games. I just don't see it. I just don't see it going Cox's way. Sorry, guys. Again, Kelm's been dominating on the scoreboard, but that being said, they're not playing Catholic or NA or some of these better teams. And that is what it is in the league. And it is, as this league grows, like Coach Hargrave was saying, I mean, we want to help these teams get better faster. If we can speed this up to get it more competitive, it'll be better for everybody, for all of us. Now, that being said, the middle of the pack of our league, we got a bunch of 4 and 5s and 6 and 4s and 3 and 6s. So we got some competition going there. You got the outliers on the top, and then you got the outliers at the bottom. So Kellum last week had wins over Lansdowne and Salem. Give a shout out to a couple of Kellum guys here. Freshman Jake Lyons at the X, one of the best I've coached.
Yeah.
Been around.
Another kid who wants it.
Yeah, he's a really humble, hardworking dude. When I met the kid, he comes up to me. He said, "Hi, Coach, I'm a FOGO." I said,
"What'd you say?
Is that it? Is that it?"
I'm a lacrosse.
I said, "No, man. You guys want to be listen." To that being said, Jake, just teasing you, buddy. Be more, do more. I like to challenge the guys to be Swiss Army knives. Do multiple things.
And look, again, last Thursday proves it. Hopefully, Cox is going to show up tomorrow and give him a game. That's
what we want to see, guys.
And then we'll finish up here. We have actually 3 guests today.
We do. We got some.
We got a special one. We got
this time.
3 real special ones. 2 old guys like us, and then a young guy who, again, every one of you guys should look up to at what you can do with talent and hard work. And that's Chase Yager.
He said his name. I was going to see if they could guess from the picture. There's Yates when he was a tiny, tiny little dude. Where I got to do this backwards and this way. Is it going up or down? There it is. There he is.
There are a lot of blondies on that.
Which number is he? Does anybody know?
Chase. I'm sorry, buddy. I don't.
Chase is muted. I think he can't even say it.
He can't even say it. All right. Well, yeah. So we got some guys coming up that you're really going to enjoy. And again, right before we break, Scott, how does it work? So next week, those guys will go into a regional.
We'll get a regional
playoff.
They'll find that out probably. Don't quote me on this end of the week. They should know.
Okay.
I believe.
Yeah.
And then we'll see where it looks like, depending on what happens here tomorrow night, we'll be hosted. The beach will host one of the first rounds for sure.
Good. And then we'll see what everybody's made of going up to Richmond for states. And that's where we want to see those teams really show themselves and come away with a bunch of wins.
Listen, prove me wrong, guys.
Yeah.
Prove me wrong. Go beat some people.
We believe in you. We believe in you
Do
guys.
it up.
Absolutely. All right. We're going to take a quick break. We're going to come back with two guys who, just like our guests last week, who do a ton for lacrosse around here for everybody. Not for one school. They do it for everyone. And that's Pat Kelly and Nat Pierce. And we'll be right back.
All righty.
Thanks.
Pain and Gain, your one-stop shop for all things field hockey. Located in Princess One Shopping Center, Virginia Beach, we carry everything you need on the turf, from black sticks, turf shoes, mouth guards, and much more. Try out your stick before you buy in our synthetic turf area. Pain and Gain. Embrace the pain, enjoy the game.
Get ready for a season of thrills and excitement. Virginia Beach United invites you to experience the adrenaline of USL League 2 Pro Soccer. Tickets are only $10 for adults, $7 for kids, and children 5 and under are free. It's the perfect family outing filled with fun and entertainment. Secure your seats now for a season of unforgettable soccer moments with Virginia Beach United. Don't miss out.
Okay. Let's see. I think we're coming back in. Is a guy I've known for almost 20 years, right? Nat Pierce, close to that, who played club lacrosse with us on the Sharks, and sitting with Coach Holava. Who do we got, Coach H?
We got Coach Kelly here, Pat Kelly.
I appreciate it. We got a long past, we put a couple of years in there over at Catholic back in the day, probably 4 or 5 years there, where we got to watch Jake grow up and become a man in front of our eyes. And
we got another special guest who we're going to really put on the spot here. Chase Yager. Chase, can you hear us?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
All right.
All right.
Wow, we look like we know what we're doing here. Watch out, ESPN. Here we come.
Chase, we said a little bit, I don't know if you heard in our first part about how we're going to let you talk about yourself, obviously, but how every kid in this area should really look up to you for what you've done. And again, tell us a little bit about yourself, your journey, and most importantly, what's going on with you now.
Yeah, I'm happy to talk about myself. I think I missed that first portion. Sorry if my connection's a little choppy here, though the Wi-Fi is a little bit questionable down here at campus. But yeah, so obviously from the area, grew up playing lacrosse, kind of learned the ropes with Coach H. So a lot of history there, a lot of great memories, kept me going through the hard times. But yeah, had an opportunity to kind of grow up around the game. You guys mentioned a lot about like the growing of the game in the Virginia Beach area, so that helped me a ton. So went to Norfolk Academy for high school. Obviously happy to see them succeeding a little bit right now and hoping to get out to see them play in their state tournament game later this week. Had a lot of great mentors there, learned a lot about the game there. And then, everybody's dream, playing college at some point. So I had the opportunity to kind of pursue that goal of mine. Played at Amherst College, a D3 school up in New England, out in Western Massachusetts. Beautiful school out there, really amazing place. Really good experience there, learned a lot. But then obviously COVID hit, a lot of weird stuff going on there, and kind of a strange little world we entered. So took some time off from school, started hunting around for some other opportunities to maybe play and change up the scenery a little bit, and ended up getting a kind of shot in the dark chance to go play at Harvard for 2 years. So stepped up there, got a chance to go out a little bit further east on the coast of Massachusetts and play out in Boston for a few years, which was awesome. Graduated there last May, and then with all the COVID stuff, had a chance to take a 5th year and was looking to come a little bit closer to home. So good to get back into Virginia, and now I'm taking my 5th year at UVA. We're enjoying the season so far. We're obviously in the heat of it now, and May balls where everybody wants to be playing. So had a good win this weekend, and then heading up to Towson next weekend to square off against Johns Hopkins for a bit of a rematch there. So that's kind of my journey, a little bit circuitous, and that's definitely a brief overview of it. But yeah, definitely had a pretty wild ride through here. And lacrosse has just done so much for me. So I'm excited to talk more about it and provide more details or just answer whatever questions you guys have.
I love it. You said the circuitous path. The path is your own, though, guys. It is yours. You make the choices for your own self. Choose wisely, but it's yours. The guys that know me, I always praise the honey badger. I'm always talking about the honey badger. I'm Mr. Honey Badger Emoticon. That's my signature basically at this point. This guy right here, this Yager guy right here, he's why I came up with that. He's the original. Okay. That team picture I put up there, there's a few of those guys, the originals on there. He's for sure. I didn't know what the hell the honey badger was, this animal. I'm a web dev, so all my buddies send these stupid videos all the time to each other. I'm watching this video, and this this narrator narrating this video of this honey badger like eating lions and taking out all kinds of snakes and shit. It was crazy, Todd. I'm like,
stuff.
If I can embody this animal in my players, we would be unbeatable. And it's a fact. So, the D Mitty, wow, I'm watching you. I'm watching your Notre Dame game a couple weeks ago. Number 8, I think it was. Yeah. You're Dean up number 8. I'm like, really? You're Dean up number 8 for Notre Dame? Holy moly! But how awesome, buddy! How awesome.
Chase, a question for me: what has sustained you in your path and your ability to step up in these programs? It takes nothing away from 757 lacrosse, certainly not Norfolk Academy, which has been, again, we've talked about, a great program for years under Tom Duquette and under Ryan Tucker now. What are some of the things that you've learned how to sustain yourself and grow and become a better player and get yourself in a position, by the way, folks, to be an All-American? Multiple. Yeah, absolutely. What are a few things that you can instill in some of the young kids here that work for you?
Yeah, absolutely. I think that a lot of it, as you guys mentioned briefly, like off-season work, finding opportunities to better yourself solo. Coach H used to preach hitting the wall, and I think that's a great example. But, for me, it was really just at every new level I went to, I was confronted with, better players, people who were pushing me to be better every day. And it inspired me to, push myself to be able to match their level, match their intensity and their energy. And, short stick D-Midi was a position that I found once I got to college. I ran a lot of 2-ways and definitely had aspirations of being one of those big goal scorers, starting midfielders when I got to college one day. But once I got here, and, a lot of people have that experience their first year being told to play short stick. And really what it was for me is just leaning into that position. I fell in love with it. I love playing defense. And it really was just built for my skill set. I think that, I love hitting the weight room. I love training. A lot of it was just, working out. I did that already when I was in high school and just kind of like doubled down on my solo time, putting in extra lifts, putting in extra running, especially over the summers, just finding that time in the off season to get better and prep myself for the actual season. And so kind of just found at each level that the opportunities kept presenting themselves. I have a lot of gratitude for, my first 2 years at D3, because I think that finding chances to get on the field, and that's what I tell people. I think that, what's so important is just getting chances to be on the field, finding the level that's good for your skill set is going to make you so much better than, just watching lacrosse or just standing on the sideline. So, I had a chance to play D3 lacrosse, and, at first I was, obviously everybody, thinks they want to go D1. D3 was a perfect fit for me, especially for those first 2 years, because it was a chance to be a freshman on a team, making an impact, getting reps on the field. And you grow so much faster from just, playing against good players and getting real live experiences. And so that was the biggest thing for me is, just keep putting yourself out there, keep finding opportunities to play. Obviously the sport's growing in Virginia Beach, and I love that. I've watched the public school programs kind of come up. That wasn't a thing when I was going through high school. They had club programs there, but, it was definitely a much smaller footprint, and a lot of the private schools are kind of leading the charge there. And I'm thrilled to see it starting to pick up, because at the end of the day, it's just about getting the stick in your hands, finding opportunities to play with people, and having fun with it. The more fun you have and the more time you spend with your friends, the more inspired you're going to be to go out there and get better. And that's really what it comes down to. And we're getting great talent, great minds down in the area. Obviously, I had the chance to come up under Duquette, who's a wizard in his own right. He's got so many years of expertise to him. But, obviously seeing Coach Holava and Coach Hargrave kind of step up and offer their wisdom to people as well. And then new coaches come down there. It's really awesome, and I'm loving that. So I'm thrilled to see the area kind of pick up. But yeah, it's just, it's all about hard work, and it's all about just, keep pushing yourself. And I found that, the harder you push yourself on your own, the more opportunities present themselves. And that's kind of my experience.
Yeah, I think you hit on something we said earlier. I was talking about the Swiss Army knife mentality. And I just think that that you have that mentality. You've always had that mentality since you were little. But I just think that you said the opportunities present themselves. I think they present themselves because of your attitude and your mindset. You're willing to do whatever. So again, when you get done with this, you're going to go have a job. You're probably going to make more money than everyone else. You're going to be able to do whatever. It's back to your mindset, guys. Okay. It's really, really important. Really important.
And a chance to play in the PLL, we understand too. Is that correct?
I've got an opportunity to go out. Got picked up after the draft to go out for the tryout up in Albany, New York. Hopefully, honestly. Well, thank you. Yeah. Hopefully I miss it because we're going to be hoping to play on Memorial Day.
I'm going to go out on the limb and say he's going to do great. That's going to. I'm going to hot take here.
Never had doubts. No doubts.
He's going to do a great job. Pat or Nat, do you guys have any questions or anything?
Chase, I remember this day you came out of Amherst and you said you rolled up to a summer league game and you said, "Hey, I'm Chase Yager. I played at NA, played at Amherst. I'm going to Harvard." And then I think you proceeded to light up all the
everybody
grown men.
Yeah.
The last day that Chase was actually an offensive midi was for summer league at Norfolk Christian.
Yeah.
I think he scored 6 goals that day.
I'm pretty sure I covered you at some point. Very well.
Say face off against.
Yeah. I got you.
No, I think I definitely put him on my team.
You're the smartest one here.
Yeah. Well, I definitely enjoy going out there and getting to hone on my shot a little bit. I definitely don't shoot quite as much anymore. I enjoy going back out there.
Remiss. Did your Instagram break?
Yeah, we did.
After your shooting attempt the other day.
Yeah, I was telling you, I came off the field being like, I don't know what everybody expected. I haven't shot lefty since high school. So I think that's my own fault.
Give him a break. You shot lefty.
Yeah.
Hey, you know what though, buddy? You were actually in the arena, man.
Yeah,
there you
go.
Yeah.
Good for you.
And who cares about that? If there's one kid who's not going to care about a mistake, he's on right now with us.
Absolutely.
Just any closing thoughts again for we talk a lot here, Chase, about kids who are maybe not given the opportunity that some of the private school kids have, where they're ingrained with lacrosse, whether it be Norfolk Academy or Catholic or Norfolk Christian or Cape, where they're given the opportunity to get great coaching. What can a kid at Green Run, what can a kid at Lansdowne do to really keep at it, keep with the game, make sure
absolutely.
They're putting the work in? What are some of your closing thoughts with that?
Yeah, for sure. I think what it comes down to for me is a lot of it is just how hard you're willing to work. If you're willing to put in the time and put in the effort, I think that you can get better across the board, whether or not you have the access to the coaching and the facilities or whatever it is that pushes some of these kids to be better. I think that, in my experience, a lot of it was just, once I started training on my own, once I started committing myself to, specifically the physical side of the game, as a short stick midi, that's what we definitely focus on a lot. Once I started honing in on that, I definitely started to see a lot of results and get better there. And that's something that you can do on your own. There's stuff online about how to train. There's opportunities to definitely pick up stuff just through YouTube or through Googling, how do I get faster? How do I get stronger? That I think helped me a ton. And then I think, it's coaches, the skill set stuff, they see that and they know kids who obviously have great shots, great stick skills. Some people are just have that talent, see Canadians come in their freshman year and just have the craziest sticks you've ever seen. And you can train that on your own. But I also think that, the coaches look for that work ethic. If you're willing to put in the work, willing to commit yourself day in and day out to getting better, I think coaches see that and they recognize the stuff all right, I can help them hone in their shooting. I can help their technique, but
you'll find your way on the field always. You'll find your way on the field always.
Yeah,
exactly.
That's where you hear coaches have favorites. Coaches play favorites. We absolutely play favorites. I play favorites.
Sure, it's a good to put it.
I got a bulleted list. It's about 85, 87 bullets long on how to become my favorite. It's really easy. Do about 4 or 5 of those things on that list, and you're probably right up there, man. Easy.
And just attack every opportunity you
I
get. Yeah.
personally believe this should be a mandatory watch for every kid in this area that plays lacrosse, and I mean that sincerely.
Yeah, I mean, I grew up here. You know, I'm not gonna pick on UVA right now, but Q's 22 straight years in the Final Four, Division I. 22 straight years. So again, if you want to look it up in your sports history, everyone loves everything. You know, am I a homer? Yeah, I grew up there. I absolutely did. It's great lacrosse up there. But again,
It is good lacrosse.
So it's going to be a great tournament. All the blue bloods are still alive.
Yeah, they are.
So
Yeah.
again, it's going to be good. It's
Awesome.
going to be good.
Awesome.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah,
buddy.
great job, Chase.
Thank
And
you so
look,
much, man.
best of luck to you guys this weekend.
Thank you so much, and thanks for having me.
State of Virginia.
Really good, man.
Thanks for coming, man.
Love
It's
it,
great to
love
talk to you.
Awesome.
yeah,
All right, you guys
go
have a good
out,
one.
Thanks,
Thanks,
Chase.
Chase.
Awesome. Well, that was fun.
Yeah.
Again, especially for the four of us to see a kid who's been here and has done it at the highest level and will continue to go to the next highest level.
Well, again, the big thing for me is in this current era, everybody wants to be able to put the rock in the top corner, and it's just a reminder that there's room for lunch pail, man. There's a honey badger, lunch pail,
Mhm.
Fogos,
Yeah.
whatever you want to call them, man. You don't got to have a good stick. You got to have a heart, and you got to push, and you'll find a way on the field. If you step on the field and you run as hard as you can while you're on that field, you won't come off that field. And I think it's important that a lot of kids, man, I don't have the stick. It doesn't matter. I mean, we already talked about it. I didn't come to the sport until 9th grade either.
Same.
And again, I lied by when my first team, WT Woodson, Northern Virginia. And next thing you know, I never gave it up. And it became part of my MO. And again, I got called a face-off guy because I didn't really bring a lot. I'll tell one story if that's okay, Mark. Can I tell one story real quick?
Love it.
First of all, I have a title for the biggest head on this show so far. So I just want you to know that. So, Shinings too.
First time in my life.
One time at Hampton Sydney, as I'm coming down and I won a face-off fast break and I throw a fake to the point guy. I step on a sprinkler outlet. I fall down and I lose the ball. Rostan pulls me aside on the sideline, grabs me by the helmet, and goes, "That's not your job, Pat Kelly. Your job is to get us the ball and get off the field." And so, again, it's us guys. Jake's another guy, Jake Lyon. Us Fogos of the world. We know our role. And you play that role to the best of your ability to do what you can. I know there's 6 guys who can throw the ball better than me, catch and pass better than me. But I'm gonna get you that ball, and it's just as important.
But what a great life lesson too, though. And really, and kids don't get enough of it. And it's not on the kids. It's a lot of it is on the social media. A lot of it is on the pressure that they're under. They don't get that understanding of everybody's gonna be the guy. I mean, you're just not everyone can put the ball in the net. There's got to be guys defending it. There's got to be guys saving it. And like Pat said, guys getting the ball, getting ground ball, being a clearing midi. There's plenty of teams that would love to have 2 or 3 clearing middies that do a great job to get that ball to the attackman.
That's what
To not
Chase. Oh, I played midi. I
Did you
was
play attack?
two-way midi.
I did not play midi.
I played attack when I came down here because I got lazy.
Hey, Tackmen are not lazy.
No, the best. I mean,
No,
Tackmen are not lazy.
not at all.
Chase is a great example for this area because he just represents so many things about how you can make it in the sport when you have the chip stacked against you. He's not big, right? He's fast. He's not the fastest kid I've ever seen. I mean, he's got a lot of speed. And then he went a D3 path to D1 to a transfer year, and now into the it just shows what better example could we have of a guy making it out of this area? I mean, it's awesome to see what he's doing.
We're going to take a really quick break, and then we're going to keep these guys here because the most important part of this is Scott and I want these guys to talk about what they're doing down here for all of you and how to make this better. So we're going to take a quick break, and we'll finish up the show with these guys, but they got an important story to tell. So we'll be back
All right.
in a jiff.
Sounds good.
I'm Dr. Mark Cardelia, orthopedic surgeon and surgical director of the CHKD Sports Medicine Program. We see a lot of knee injuries in student athletes these days, and many of these are ACL tears.
Why don't you guys
Well, it's everybody's favorite time of year again. Time to prepare to make your annual donation to that infernal revenue service. So get off your W-2 and call John Maynard at John's Tax Service. 455-6763.
As a banker at Town Bank, We believe that people bank with people, not with banks. You're looking for an actual personal relationship, and that's what you get at our bank. You get that person that gets to know you, gets to know your business, is there for you. I think that is what motivates us, what drives us. And the idea that we are trying to serve others and enrich lives, I think is very true.
After more than 50 years of innovation, AstroTurf still leads the way. The inventor of artificial turf does it all, right here in the USA. We engineer, test, manufacture, and install the world's most innovative fibers and turf technologies, with over 30,000 tracks and fields worldwide. AstroTurf, powered by Sport Group.
We'll do it a little bit. We'll do it a little bit here. I know. We're going to get into that first. That's more important. All right, we are back. We are back. So, my wife tells me you talk too much on that podcast. You don't let Scott talk enough and your guests. So, we're going to turn it over to our two guests here. And like I said, they got a special story to talk about. So which one of you gentlemen would like to start first?
I would start by saying again, coaching for me and what coaching has become in this generation. Just a couple, again, I'm gonna step way back and talking about a couple things if you all don't mind. Just because I get a chance to say what's on my mind. I've been playing the sport for a long time. When I see where coaching is going, and I think about what we had. When we think about what we had in our coaches, Tom Gill for me up at the Merchant Marine Academy and Ray Rostan, those guys taught me lessons about life. They taught me how about life. And I think this current generation, and there's been a push to younger coaches, and that's good. They understand the X's and O's. But I do believe that there's been kind of a devaluing of that other side of things and growing young men and getting them ready for the world, getting them ready for what's coming down and that kind of stuff. And so again, there's been when I think about who I was coached by, I never had to pay $1 to anybody. And now I feel like with our current generation, man, we want to pay for good coaching. And nothing is more the antithesis of what I believe sports are for than that concept. And so starting there, I guess it's old man shakes hand at the sun, but it's I just wanted to start with that because I feel like that is what Coach Nat and I have gotten a chance to kind of attack in our own way. We've got our own thing that we've got going, and again, Nat, if you want to take it from there, man, yeah. I just think that's a good way to start.
I can start. For those that don't know me well, I came here right around the same time as you.
Yeah.
I moved to Virginia Beach. I'm from New Jersey. Went to Mountain Lakes High School where you guys had Coach DeLuca
Great
a couple
program.
weeks ago.
Oh yeah. Powerhouse.
So I saw a blueprint of. I started playing in 3rd grade when the program starts in 1st grade, and you play with the same team all the way through. That's and then you get Tim Flynn, who's probably the all-time winningest coach, has 700 plus wins right now. So I had the blueprint from where I was from, and then I moved down here in 2005, and I was almost shocked initially that we are 3 hours from Baltimore, 3.5 hours from Baltimore, and there's really only 2 teams that could play back then, Cape and NA.
Yeah.
So I went and coached at Cape Henry in 2005 with Colin and Charlie Lonergan, and was there for a long time, and kind of just was an assistant there. And I just sort of saw things with the youth leagues that were run previously and everything, where there was something that was a little broken about the game locally. And there was a group of guys, I think guys that played Sharks.
Yes.
Guys that played on
Neptunes. We spun that off, yeah.
And there was guys that I met along the way that I think cared about the sport, not about their particular son or daughter that might be on that team, but they just cared about helping kids learn what this sport can give to them, and what the sport can give back to each of us as individuals. And that had been my experience. I've traveled. I got the opportunity to play for Team Norway
Yeah,
I've traveled all around the world to play this sport. My wife would probably say it's not hasn't been the most enjoyable experience, but
that makes two.
it's I mean the sport has opened up so many doors and so many relationships that I wouldn't have had. And it's all just because, just like Chase said, it's like, where just find a way to get better. And, the game still continues for the four of us, even though some of us are still playing.
Yeah. Well, some of us have 2 Achilles these days because
We tried last summer, Scott.
So we,
Anybody, let's go. I'm ready to run.
don't blow your Achilles, folks.
Keep playing.
It's not
lacrosse.
fun.
Don't stop moving, kids.
And I know we don't want commercials, but we do. Well, let's talk about what you guys are doing at FCA. First of all, they're both the coaches at Norfolk Christian, and then also run FCA. So if you guys want to tell us a little bit.
So I mean, obviously, I have a faith background coming from Messiah College, and I had been involved and played with FCA really in some of the earlier years of Fellowship of Christian Athletes. So I knew Ryan Hornberg, who was the former national director. And, when I saw an opportunity at Norfolk Christian where they might want to start a program, the first thing I did is I called up Ryan. I said, hey, why don't you drive down here? There's a school. They have a football program. It's not in the nicest area of Norfolk. There's the opportunity to sort of really make what looks like a lot different lacrosse team. Bring in some of these football, basketball athletes.
Yeah.
Bring in some of the Norfolk community into a lacrosse team and just create like a diverse, interesting, awesome mix of lacrosse players. And Ryan came down, met with the athletic director, and in our first interest meeting, we had 5 kids show up at the school. So immediately our prayers to build something were subject to some roadblocks. So to speak. But, we got the Norfolk Christian program started, but a big part of that was we were bringing the FCA brand, which had really, really a lot of success in the club program, like FCA Maryland, FCA Upstate, some of their club teams. They've had, and then that obviously instantly attracted a lot of the really good players in the area. Right. We've traditionally always been going up to Richmond to play outside. And Coach Pat and I really, when I found out his kids were at the school, we had a conversation, and we, one of the initial problems we identified is, why is everyone driving to Richmond to play? There's plenty of athletes here that some of them might not have really good stick skills, but they're still athletes.
Yeah. Yes.
We need to get them back out. And then the next thing was Summer League. There was a great Summer League that was here pre-COVID. It got moved away from Cape Henry for some unfortunate instances. It's coming back this summer. It'll be at Cape Henry and Norfolk Christian.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Both places. Okay.
Yeah.
Great.
And so we brought back the Summer League, and we brought it back
I'm going to Cape.
for middle school, high school,
It's all right.
and for adults. Because one of the cool things about the way Summer League used to be is it was adults and high school kids.
Right.
And you developed those relationships and you played against those kids. And I mean, that's the one thing that in the club game right now, everyone plays grad gear. Then you get into college, or then you get into high school. You got to be able to compete with kids that are in college now. You're an 18-year-old freshman going up against a 25-year-old.
I think that again, when talking about faith-based, I coached with Coach H here for a couple of years over there at Catholic, and the ability to talk about God, to bring God to bear, to help teach the lessons of life is something that's very important to us. The context of life, context of relationships. We made some promises on the field as we started this thing, and we're not going to let politics ever get in the way. We're never going to turn someone away because they don't have enough money to play the sport. I think, again, that's become this exclusivity that we talk about. Hey, we don't want the sport to be exclusive. But if it costs money to get good coaching, if it costs money to play a travel team that goes places and all that, I mean, that's good if you want to do it. But ultimately, nothing's here for the guys that want to play. And so speak to that and the concept of starting something new. It's been hard. It's been hard.
I want to speak to that.
Yeah, go for it.
Stay right there.
Yeah.
I wonder if you equate your experience starting something new to the public school guys.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna try
really,
to.
It's really the same. You just happen to be maybe slightly ahead of them.
Yeah, not by much, but again, when we first started, we sat down, we said, hey, this is going to be a 3-year process. We're gonna put it in the oven. It's going to come out quick. It's a much longer process. You have to establish the pipeline. You have to have the youth, and it really that reaches back to 6th grade, 5th grade. I mean, the time at Catholic that we put together the pipeline down there, which Owen was part of. Mark, it was.
Well, Coach, I think we all talk about what I call the medicine game. What's given to all of us, the lifelong friendships, all the stuff, the life lessons, all the things, and to be able to do that is why we're out here. I think all of us.
I think we all owe the sport something. At my lowest point in my life, it was lacrosse that pulled me out of that.
Always.
I got my own path. Went through the Merchant Marine Academy for a little bit. Got told to leave there. Went home. Started playing for a club lacrosse team in DC called T-Bones, and Jeff Balestri, who's the coach over there, who's actually he was part of the Sharks down here too.
Jeff was the coach
at Bullets. Yeah. So Jeff Balestri and Tommy Snedeker took me under their wings as a 19-year-old kid and said, "Man, you can face off," and that's what gave me the wherewithal. And I ended up transferring down to Hampton Sydney.
And let me tell you something, and this is not in jest at all, and it's something I've never discussed with a lot of people, and certainly not in front of the whole public. Just talking about something locally for kids, I made a big mistake. I really did. I had a 757 select team of 2025 guys, which I think we'll show a picture at the end. 9 of these guys, and I'm going to include Zach Wood on that, because if he would have had 1 foot and 1 hand, he would have made first team if he would have been able to play the Sheeran, Howard, and Dax, and we mentioned those guys. But I made a big mistake a few years back, and I thought the right thing for those guys to do was to get exposure and go up to Richmond. And it's no knock against the program they went to. Those guys are good guys. We respect and certainly I love both those guys. But I made a mistake by not keeping them together, because I thought they wouldn't be able to get what they needed here. And I was completely wrong. We probably would have had 1 or 2 guys leave maybe, but we would have soldiered on, and we would have done fantastic with that group of kids. So that is probably my biggest regret being a coach down here, is that I broke those guys up, and I didn't need to do it. And what these guys are starting and what they're doing is near and dear to my heart, because we can keep kids together down here, and we can have great teams with just kids down here.
Yeah, I think that the travel sport piece, again, when we talk about money and what it costs to do, but also I don't know how well it prepares you for like what we were just talking about. This idea that, hey, I'm the best freshman on the face of the earth. Well, guess what? When you go in as a freshman in college, you're going to be playing somebody these days who's 24 years old. And so, I mean, what are you going to do again? Like, again, we got a young team right now at Norfolk. We got a bunch of freshmen playing. We got some 8th graders stepping in every once in a while when we need it. And they got to end up playing against 12th graders. And that's one of the, again, I've plugged my own son for a hot second. He's not very good, but what he wasn't was scared. And that's the less, again, when we talk about what we're trying to convey to our young men, it's how to be prepared for life, how to be prepared when duress comes along, and how you're gonna respond. You're gonna palms up, all that kind of stuff. Are you gonna complain when the refs are too, it's the refs' fault, it's someone else, it's their fault, it's mine. Again, it's all lessons in life that comes out, man. That I think that's why we do what we do.
We segue into Mindset Monday.
Yeah. Well, hold on. Let's talk though. How does everybody sign up for Summer League? We have 2 travel teams right now.
There's 2 FCA teams, 26s and 27s.
Right.
Potentially another one in the works. Summer League starts at the end of this month. It's going to be hosted at Cape and at Norfolk Christian. Potentially there's a girls option coming as well. You can look at the Christian Lax Bros Instagram or fcalacrosse.org is the sign up for that. And the last thing I'd say about the freshmen is Heather, Elijah Lamb over at Kellum, Sean LeBeff, they did some off-season work with Heather Lamb that I think made a huge difference especially for Sean.
I had more guys on my Kellum list I want to shout out. And Elijah is definitely one of the guys who I think is really unheralded young player coming up. It doesn't get so much playing time, not as much as I'd like to see, to be honest. But I think he's playing awesome, and I would say
with our young team. I told Sean at the beginning of this year, I said, you're a good player, but you're a freshman and you're 130 pounds, they're going to come for you, and they're going to be big bodies, and you're going to have to be able to take a beating. And he spent all of January and February in the gym lifting.
Yeah.
And with Elijah and Jackson Jensen,
Yeah,
NSA,
sure.
and it was a different style. And then they hit the wall.
It shows.
And
Yes, it does.
it made those are the guys that they stood out in, despite their age.
Yeah.
So that's another option as well. Heather's training some kids also
That's great.
this summer. So summer league starts the end of the month.
Yeah. Maybe some impromptu stuff between now and then. Unfortunately,
I know,
some of
yeah.
us can't play this year, and it's going to be like getting our teeth pulled out again. So.
Middle school, high school, and
Yeah.
then
Oh yeah.
even the old men out there.
Did we get just adults only for a couple games?
Yeah, maybe.
Some of these guys.
Listen, wherever you are, hey, wherever you are, Zoe, in your recovery, don't forget about last summer, the last time you and I faced each other. Don't you forget about that. Don't forget about who won those. Before you get into your mindset, I'm gonna ask you to everybody out there, Google one thing. Google this concept, C.S. Lewis. There's a concept of men without chests. Look it up, men chests. When you think about what we do in sports, when you think about what the meaning of sports are, the idea is your mind and your brain is the higher way of thinking, spirituality and high thinking. Your stomach is the animalistic side of us. All right. And so what we want to do is create a chest that's the modulator for life. How much of this animalistic, how much of this much, and so sports is what gives you this inoculation, so to speak. How do I act under duress? How do I act in a brotherhood? Am I a leader? All those pieces. It's all a portion of creating this modulator.
Place to learn how to do it.
Yeah, that's gonna and you know what? It's not life and death at that point. Don't wait until it's life and death in life to learn these lessons about yourself. Go play sports. Be under duress. Feel uncomfortable. Push yourself beyond that piece. That's the whole point for what we do, guys.
Fearless competitors. We doing commercial break? Or
No, we're gonna go straight
right in. All right. Listen, I wanted to get into I'm calling it Mindset Monday. Talk about John Gordon often. So far, we've been doing this. He's a great read. Anybody, athletes, coaches, I highly recommend reading them. But watching the championship game, NAA Catholic, right? Watching the game, we all focus on like the end, right? The end of the game, the final things, right? All the stuff, right? There's a bazillion plays that happen in the game, right? Good plays, bad plays, all the plays, right? Well, you get a play at the end. I don't know if it was a shot, loose ball, right in front of the goalie, Catholic goalie. Noah appeared to scoop the grounder, have the ball in his stick, okay? Run out of his crease. I don't know what it was, trip, push, whatever you want to call. No calls made. Everyone's up in arms. The green team over here is going crazy. The white team's happy. I'm a coach. I'm watching. I think it's something. But again, players play, coaches coach, refs. Back to I think the first show. I mean, I got in your face and said, "I'm not perfect, and neither are you." And you know what? Neither are the refs. You're gonna miss stuff. Okay, but again, what are you gonna do from that point on? You're on the team. So as I'm watching the game with my coach brain, Coach Hargrave, I'm sitting there. Timeout happens. This play just happened. Everyone's up in arms, going crazy. There's seconds left in the game. Okay, both teams go to the benches. And all I can think about is, what is Catholic doing? Are they sitting there in their huddle wasting this timeout, complaining about this no call play? Okay. Or are they really mentally tough enough to be on to the next thing? Guys, I mean, the resilience to be able to, and I use a physical thing I started with my own kids, and we flush it. I use the old toilet flush handle, and that mistake happens. I give it to them from 40 yards away. It's in the air. They see it. We do it. You move on. But again, we all talk about hustling coaches, right? Hustle. We're all talking about running fast and stuff. Mental IQ and hustling mentally and getting on to the next thing faster than your competitor is a hustle play. Okay, I'm not going to homer with the Cuse. I'm watching Spolina on an end line kind of play. A little bit of confusion, but he wasn't confused. He's a coach's kid. He knows exactly what's happened. He was hustling, got to the end line. They got like an open net goal because Towson wasn't ready. Okay, so again, if you are going to take that 2 seconds, players, okay, to feel sorry for yourself about the pass you just sailed over someone's head or the shot you missed or whatever negative thing happened, okay, you really have to do better with that. You got to be able to flush it and move on.
I think you're always in a 1-goal game. What could have, should have, could have, would have. All of those questions just get magnified, Coach. I mean, again, there's no way you can't go back to those games and think to yourself, what if I had done that? But any one play, any one performance, goalies tend to always take it on their shoulders because it was the last goal. But that scoreboard is a collection of, like you said, hundreds of actions, and you have to be able to wipe, rinse, repeat, circle the wagons and finish through the fundamentals that you know. And again, it's any 1-goal game is gonna be cut and looked at and stared at and all that kind of stuff. But again, it's just a great game for the sport of lacrosse that night. We got lucky enough in hosting it that we were on the sidelines and got to be in that, got to hear both those.
I can tell you, H, we were 5 feet away from that huddle, and they weren't complaining about calls.
No,
They were fired.
That was just
They
fired.
those Catholic coaches proved.
Yeah,
what
they did.
brought that night.
Yeah.
And was a great game plan.
And
against a
I mean,
great team.
I think that's a good point of, as coaches, I think we're dealing with parents too.
Right.
And we're dealing with parents' reactions to those situations. And in that moment, yeah, probably a foul against Noah if it happens in the first quarter. At that point in the game, I mean, those refs are into the game as much as everyone else there.
That's right.
And I was helping with overseeing the refs in that game, and probably 2-3 minutes before that, the shot clock had gone dark, and we had told the refs 20 times the shot clock is going to go dark.
Mm-hmm.
And they stopped the game for about 30 seconds because the shot clock. I mean, they were in the moment, and he said, inadvertent whistle. I made a mistake. It went
okay.
And he, admitted he made a mistake.
Be careful how much
They're
you
not
decide to.
perfect.
Yeah, you can be careful how much you ask for it, and you provide an internal litmus test to those refs, because then we're going to have no refs, and then we're going to be up.
Yeah, and
creek real quick.
It's to credit to those guys. It has gotten infinitely better than it was 10 years ago.
Yeah.
I mean, night and day better than it was 10 years ago. There's still some new guys out there that struggle, but it's a lot better.
Meanwhile, the parents have gotten infinitely worse in the last 10 years. It's like rec ball yelling, rec ball. We both coach rec ball too. I mean, we're coaching a bunch of kids that aren't our kids, and it's, man, some of that reaction, like if you're going to react that way when it doesn't count, man, you're going to blow a gasket when it does. I mean,
It's hard.
prepare yourself, parents.
It's hard to sit as a parent and be quiet. But remember, this is your child's game, not your game. Let them play. You can cheer when they do well. You can, be upset when they don't. But let them play.
And never forget the point of sports in general, like we said earlier, man. Like I said earlier, again, I'm harping on this thing just because life is coming at a lot, all of us, and again, it's preparing your boys for what's coming down the line. Kids, mortgages, and death, and life, and all that kind of stuff, man. Is all something you're gonna have to be ready for, and that's what it's a free look at all that stuff.
And before we get, Scott, you have something to go out with for us, is that right?
The peaks and valleys
Austin,
of
before we
life,
do that,
Fati.
So last minute here, I'm going to give the Nando's player of the game to the Tallwood lacrosse team for their first win of the year last year over our Green Run boys, who fought really hard.
That number 3 kid is.
He is.
Yeah.
They had, that's huge for those guys. So congrats to the Tallwood team.
Yeah, I'm gonna give just shout out to Salem LSM senior LSM Jaden Platt watched him play. Hell of a game. Hell of a game. Was everywhere. Really athletic kid. He's a senior. Coach McCoy spoke very, very highly of him. Coach McCoy, by the way, has got a partner up with ECSC this summer for some Sand Sixes. We'll have more details on the website for that kind of stuff. We also got a FC camp coming up June 17th through 20. That info will be on the website as well.
Do we get to give a shout out to a player? Can we give it a shout out real quick?
Yeah, absolutely.
Again, and it's probably gonna sound. I'm gonna in that championship game, there was a big talk on the sidelines on Ashton Crocker, and I went to Hampton Sydney with Randy. And again, I coached that kid for a bunch of years in rec lacrosse.
Super fast.
That's what. So Randy came up to me and he's like, "Well, Pat, your DNA is on that guy," and I said, "That guy's the opposite of what I bring." But again, it's just awesome, like you said, your picture, to see these kids that were there and now they're here and they're freshmen.
I'll also speak to his general attitude on and off the field, which is fantastic.
Yeah.
He's a great player as a freshman. He's making a huge impact. Humble, right? Puts the work in, doesn't talk, doesn't say a word. That's what I think I probably am most impressed about with him.
Yeah, that duo, that's a trio of freshmen there, Chase and Henry Chasson. Ralph went to all these Hampton Sydney guys. TW, that's all you all keep talking about is Hampton Sydney out there. So just so in case anybody wants to know where to go to school one day, you go there.
I normally have my Marlins on.
Yeah.
I had the Q
Hey,
today.
I tell you this, when you all were talking about having to play the same team in 3 times a year, I'm pretty sure in '99 we beat Lynchburg 3 times in the same year. That was a pretty good year.
Fun school.
I know we got to wrap up. I'm not against it, Pat. I just think I was talking to Mr. Acker about it after the game on Saturday. He and I were talking about how they don't allow that in Visa basketball, I guess, to play the same team 3 times. And you can say, oh, well, your son plays a Catholic and they lost all of them. No, I would say the same thing if it was the other way around. I just feel like in a state tournament,
It becomes something like a chore, like, here we go again, and here it's but
Mr. Acker and I were talking about it. Yeah, it's tough for both teams, but whatever it is, what it is. All right.
And having been at Cape for all those years, I mean, there was such an awesome rhythm to playing that last game of the season between the 2 best teams.
Sure.
Knowing you're going to see them in the championship.
Right.
And even going in that game,
Yeah,
those
look
kids
right
played
here.
tighter.
They did.
They played a lot tighter because of
I
the
can
stakes of
take it
that
around.
game. But then having to go back, they should change that.
I think so.
They need to get
Sorry.
They need to change that.
All right, Scotty, take us out. What do you got?
All right. I'm the poetry guy too, in case you hadn't known that. I'm not just an awesome lacrosse coach.
C.S. Lewis and
I'm very
poetry on
confident.
this side of the table over here, guys.
Well,
Look at
listen, I
this.
think there's stuff to glean from many areas of life. If you're not a reader, I highly recommend reading. Makes you smarter. Anyway, Rudyard Kipling, the poem "If." You know this one. It's definitely one of my favorites. My sons definitely know this one for sure. But here goes. If, by Rudyard Kipling. If you can keep your head when all about you are losing theirs and blaming it on you. If you can trust yourself when all men doubt you, but make allowance for their doubting too. If you can wait and not be tired by waiting, or being lied about, don't deal in lies, or being hated, don't give way to hating, and yet don't look too good nor talk too wise. If you can dream and not make dreams your master, if you can think and not make thoughts your aim, if you can meet with triumph and disaster and treat those 2 impostors just the same. If you can bear to hear the truth you've spoken, twisted by knaves to make a trap for fools, or watch the things you gave your life to broken and stoop and build them up with worn out tools. If you can make one heap of all your winnings and risk it on one turn of pitch and toss, and lose and start again at your beginnings, and never breathe a word about your loss. If you can force your heart and nerve and sinew to serve your turn long after they are gone, and so hold on when there is nothing in you except the will which says to them, hold on. If you can talk with crowds and keep your virtue, or walk with kings nor lose the common touch, if neither foes nor loving friends can hurt you, if all men count with you, but none too much, if you can fill the unforgiving minute with 60 seconds worth of distance run, yours is the earth and everything that's in it, and which is more, you'll be a man, my son. And that's all I got for this week.
Hey, let me. I've ended up with everyone who's willing to pray. We lost a good one. Really good friend of mine, Gabe Christensen, praying for you, praying for your family, for the repose of your soul, praying for your children. God bless you all. Be ready. Life's coming, man.
Yeah. Thank you, everyone. Great show. Thanks, guys.
See ya.
Over now.
That was awesome.
I'm Dr. Mark Cardelia, orthopedic surgeon and surgical director of the CHKD Sports Medicine Program. We see a lot of knee injuries in student athletes these days, and many of these are ACL tears. Parents often ask how to know when a knee injury may be serious. The most obvious symptom is severe pain or swelling in the knee joint. Your child may have heard a pop when the injury occurred. Look for signs they can't put weight on the knee around 48 hours after the injury, or if the knee feels unstable or wobbly. Those are all signs you should see a CHKD sports medicine specialist. Our sports medicine physicians, surgeons, athletic trainers, and physical therapists understand the needs of growing athletes and tailor treatment to fit each child's age and level of activity. Our goal is to accurately diagnose the problem in a timely fashion and provide the treatment that will ensure a safe return to activity. Kids want to play, and we want to help them get back in the game. To learn more, visit chkd.org. Sports medicine at CHKD. We're more than a hospital.